Hello, welcome to Back to the City. I'm Simon Calder, and today I'm really excited to have MAKR and ERIS in the studio. I really love this collaboration. I'm also very familiar with Brock Lammers and
nice.
Mid-City Studio, which is where you've been recording your material.
Yes.
On Me Too, which is the record that you released at Ice House by now months ago, there is a song called MAKR and ERIS, and MAKR, you know what that means, ERIS, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
Do you like my rapping?
Yeah, it's great.
Let's begin by establishing how this team came to be, and because you're described, of course, as producer, rapper, duo, MAKR, and Sophia ERIS. So the collaboration between the two of you being on the same team, and then your work at Mid-City Studio, and with Brock mixing it, I'd like to just hear about how this team came to be, and how you are also kind of a trio in a way in terms of creating the record Me Too with Brock.
Well, him and I were the main creators of it.
Of course.
And Brock kind of came in after it was on to help us mix it and make sure the sound was true to what we wanted it to be.
Totally, yeah.
But when it comes to him and I being co-workers together, basically, we've known each other for a long time, over 10 years. But with Mid-City Studio specifically, that kind of became the glue of us getting to know each other creatively more. And it kind of happened over 2020, 2021 era when we're all kind of stuck in our houses.
Lockdown, yeah.
For quarantine. And it was hard to be able to find a place to create. And luckily, Mid-City Studios was a place we could all go to create. So I got to know him a lot more in that time. And we just were able to realize we were easily able to create together. And for me, I'm all about, if I can feel authentically true with you, and I feel safe around you, and I feel confident around you, I would love to make music with you.
Absolutely,
so I felt around him.
Mobility is limited because it's the quarantine.
Yeah.
But you had access to Mid-City Studio, and you were able to experiment and have a creative outlet together. And then it was actually, rather than just something to do to stay sane and still have some creativity, it seemed like a particularly good partnership. And so then here we are on the same team.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just want to make clear, it's not a trio. So we worked with a lot of mixers, you know, on the second album, Aaron Baum, or the first album, Aaron Baum,
also
did mix.
Studio,
Brian also does mixing for us.
Yeah.
Brock does mixing for us. As far as the team, this is the team.
This is the team. The team is a duo. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But shout out to Mid-City though too, because it's a creative catalyst for us.
Catalyst,
so.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Cool. Well, I really love the record. I think my favorite track is Only for the Night.
Yeah. And that might be our favorite track too.
Really? Wow, cool. On the same page.
Yeah.
On the same team.
Yeah.
We're a trio.
You could be. You'll be part of the game.
What I love about Only for the Night is that, so it starts off with the spoken word bit, think I'm stupid and I am, just for the night though.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the song, that we have the refrain, only for the night though, and it's the continuation of that.
Yes, yeah.
But then I feel by later on in the song, only for the night, the fact that, to quote the song, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a guy, I'm with you only for the night.
Yeah.
And it's no longer I'm stupid for the night, and therefore that might lead to me being with you.
Yeah.
No, I know what I'm doing. It's only for the night. And then it gets to take out my trash, help me with my TV, fix my Comcast, make my Hulu free. And then it's not only for the night. The brief time with the guy.
It's investments sometimes. It's investments sometimes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
actually,
Hulu stays free forever, perhaps.
Yeah, that song actually came to be. So I was touring at the time. We had a show with Lizzo.
Yeah.
We had a show out for Christmas at the Madison Square Garden, and one of our backup singers, Ravon, she was moving out of her house in Atlanta. She was telling us, she was man, I just moved all my stuff to storage, and I realized the last thing left was my TV, and no one could help me with it. The only one that could help me was my ex, and he lives on the street, and I didn't want to do it because he's gonna think I'm stupid. But I was only for the night though. And so
you took that and turned it into this.
Yeah, so when you hear that song, in the very beginning, you hear a voice note. You hear a woman saying, a cappella, Must
Yeah.
think I'm stupid. And I am only for the night though. But that was a voice note that I took of that moment. So I came back and I showed it to him, and he's like, I love
This
this.
is amazing. It's like the most feminist shit ever.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
everything comes with attachments too. So you're like,
Yeah.
so how to navigate that, especially with your ex coming in, you're like, man, I know what he's probably wanting. I know this, you know what I'm
He's
saying,
totally
but I
upset.
need help. Though.
I need
But I need
someone to move
help.
my TV. Like,
Yo,
literally.
yeah. And you actually,
I
I'm
heard.
really close to you, so you know what I'm saying?
Down the street.
How
Yeah,
about
you
cleaning
live down
the
the street,
bathroom
son.
floor too?
Yeah.
You don't think I'm stupid. And I am. That's for the night though. Yeah. Because I need help with my
Those
TV.
decisions. Yeah.
Get it out of here.
Not actually stupid.
So that's where that song came from.
Clever song.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Clever, silly, not stupid. So,
Also, that New Jack Swing tip. I'm really
Yeah.
proud of that.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was
we
a lot.
it took a lot of takes, a lot of people like putting their 2 cents or trying.
Yeah.
But we're really trying to emulate that New Jack Swing sound.
Shout out to Dallas Austin.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yes, for sure. What about your friends?
Yeah.
That was a reference for sure.
speaking of references, I referenced the song MAKR and ERIS before. And a really fun, clever moment in that one is the LL Cool J says I'm a runaway.
Yeah,
And then
I'm a
you have
runaway.
so what's, can you expand on that moment? It's so well
Yeah,
executed.
that was like one of the best
Little
moments of my
stunt.
whole life.
Little stunt.
That happened I think that happened probably 16.
Yeah.
We were like at ACL Festival in Austin, Texas, and we were opening up for LL Cool J.
That's one does.
And,
Yep.
and my whole life, actually not my whole life. When I was like 4, the first time I heard Around the Way Girl, I was like, he's talking about me. I just thought he was. I was like, I don't know why. I was just a little kid.
As a kid, you thought, yeah,
I just
understandable.
really anything that
It's relatable.
was
yeah.
good.
He kind of describes you in the video.
Yeah, no, he does. Want to go and touch me, have bare movements, at least 2 pairs. Can you, yeah, off the.
Second on a lot of them.
And I was just like, I was the only child at the time, so I was just like, everything's about me, But LL Cool J, that song specifically, was very integrated in my brain growing up, and I wanted to be who he was talking about, is basically the right way to put it. And so
Me too.
I wanted to be.
I want to be
Around the Way
videotaping all
Girl,
the time. I wanted to be him. Just like, you know what I'm saying?
So now, like, fast forward to now I'm like 30, and I'm opening up for him, and he's like back in my backstage area, and I go up and I say, hi, I'm Sophia, such a big fan. Could I ask? I'm a DJ, and I was like, would you mind? Could you say, Sophia, this is my Around the Way Girl, please? And he goes, I would love to. And then he gave me that drop.
Do you like his lips? Right?
Of course he did. I have the video. It's all yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He does like his lips.
So that just
He
so
did 2 rapper careers, by the way. Don't front on LL.
I love LL.
Me too.
And he remembered me later. Oh my god. Anyway.
And they're
so,
the two of you, and here you're a trio.
What's that?
Oh, he's part. Yeah,
It's
he's
my
He could be a part of the
Yeah, yeah.
running joke.
But yeah, no, he just did it happily, and it was like huge for me. And so I had it on the video, and at the time I was working in radio. One of our biggest engineers asked for the videotape, and he embedded it on Around the Way Girl for me. So in the beginning, it's like, ding. What up, this is LL Cool J, listen to DJ Sophia ERIS. So now it's actually in the integrated Around the Way Girl song.
I love it. Yeah, and
So-
something that you just recently did is the Minneapolis Tech.
Oh yeah, the teaching.
So-
Yeah.
I love that. I first heard about that when Shannon Blowtorch, who of course is your DJ partner
Yeah.
for 2 monthly events,
Yeah.
Y2K,
Yep.
at Zora Darling on the first Friday of each month, and Pussy Control at Mortimer's on the second Friday
Yes.
of each month. I work on a Friday, but I always catch the end of Pussy Control.
Oh,
And I
okay.
like to as you were closing it this most recent time before the interview. You were saying Pussy Control. It is what you want it to be, or something along those lines.
Oh, right.
Do you remember saying that just at the close of the night?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously led with 2 women, and the title also came from obviously Prince.
Prince. Yeah, it's my favorite Prince song.
Yeah, and just I've always like been just an advocate for women in a lot of ways, and so but Blowtorch, as someone that taught me how to DJ, when I came back from tour, I really wanted to I felt just good around her. That's family to me.
Yeah.
So if I do a residency with anybody, it would be her.
Absolutely.
Or anyone I feel that has been there on my journey from the beginning. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And a lovely magical thing that came up in the interview with Shannon is that going into the new year,
Yeah.
Shannon was sharing that she feels like it's a new page,
Yes.
and a lot of things that she really wanted but never thought she'd have happened.
Yeah.
And so by the end of the interview, she was sharing a large part of that is being a parent.
Yeah.
To the kid who took the class with you.
Yes, Raven. Yeah, I love Raven.
Yeah, right.
That
Yeah,
was-
exactly.
That was a good. She made me a bracelet that I always keep. It says best teacher.
Yeah.
Sweetie, I loved her. Yeah.
And this particular, so the ABCs of Artistry, I promise we'll get back to MAKR and ERIS momentarily, but the ABCs of Artistry,
I guessed.
Raven?
I guessed a little bit. I guessed.
Yes, he came in with me.
No,
Really?
come on.
He was one of my guests. He
What?
taught him how to make a beat.
it's so like wonderful and wholesome, this whole thing.
Yeah.
Get paid, so Raven and anyone else who did it got paid $150 dollars to learn a new and exciting tech skill.
Yes.
And Shannon was also saying like a video appearance from Lizzo at the end, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't end up having that day.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, but it was very wholesome and humbling experience. I learned a lot as well as but it was amazing to be able to just kind of like take what I've learned in my journey. I've been an artist for like 11 years now,
Yes.
professionally, and just take whatever concepts and morals I have,
Yeah.
and be able to share them. It was a blessing. I was really
Totally,
happy
yeah.
to do it.
The reason why I bring it up now is
Yeah.
because I think that, so having a sense of you and your character, like you are a person of integrity, and you do care about doing things that are aligned with your
Yeah.
values, and I think this is a really clear case in point.
Yeah.
So could you just expand a little bit more on what that experience was like and the importance as a case of giving back?
Yeah, so the ABC's Artistry stood for authenticity, bravery, and consistency.
ABC.
Yeah, and so the first couple weeks, I kind of delved into kind of overcoming fear and not chasing perfection, and kind of doing more inward exercises of understanding who they are. And then the next 2 weeks, we went into more of creation state, kind of teaching them tools on how to make beat, how to songwrite, how to rhyme, things of those natures. And then the last 2 weeks, I let them focus on their final, which was there to create a song, a poem, a beat, or a piece of artwork for them. And
That's
so-
a really, and I see the ABC,
Yeah.
the 3 stages. Strangely, I did a similar kind of workshop, and it also began with fear, like focusing on fear.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense that would be the starting point.
Yes.
And so now, like circling back to the Me Too record, it struck me as really interesting that the first track is called "I Cried."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Mark, I think is it you saying that at the end, or who? What is?
No, sir.
It's you. We hear your voice is on the record at times, is it not? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, subtly.
Yeah.
But like most of like the lows or all that is manipulation of her voice.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of it is just her manipulating it.
Yeah.
And chopping it. So then taking that and taking textures from that creates a song. Because I think I Cried was like almost a throwaway. We didn't even know what to do. Like made a beat,
Yeah.
kind of like freestyled over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we came back to it, and they were like, "Holy, what is it? What?" And then finishing it off because that was like one of the last songs on the album
Yeah.
that we completed.
We kind of threw that in there at the very end because we realized that was like the perfect puzzle piece that the album needed.
Totally, tie the room
tell
together.
the story.
Tie the room together.
I like that there is now the gloves coming off, and there's the promise of the courage and the confidence, but also it's called "I Cried" and it ends with "I Cried," and so there's this vulnerability too, which is a really important component.
That song kind of happened like it was like a sneeze, like he said. It was like a freestyle, but I was dealing with something had happened to really jolt me to release those emotions, and but the fact that the story that it's telling, I think within the album that was really helpful for that last puzzle piece was kind of just letting go. It was like it's like basically acknowledging like the connection that you had with people or somebody, and then and just kind of grieving it for a second and letting it go, and then kind of shutting yourself to move forward. You know, I think that's, and a lot of those songs were created in a time that were like a lot of transition was happening.
Yeah.
Like the city, like we were going from everything kind of burning to like being regrown. You know, and so that was like those specific songs we make a lot of different sounds all the time, but we put those songs together for a reason.
Yep.
And that was supposed to be like kind of like a catalyst and a vessel of a lot of feelings of that we needed to express at that time.
Totally.
So,
You had your personal experience of upheaval, and then each person had their own experience of upheaval in that time, which is, for me, perhaps seems part of why the title "Me Too" fits so well. Could you expand a bit more on how the title
Me
landed?
Too is like, it's MAKR and ERIS too, technically, because our first project, MAKR and ERIS, came out in December of,
MAKR ERIS.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the first album was just MAKR and ERIS.
Yeah.
That was just a five-piece we put out in the winter, a couple winters ago. So this time it's MAKR and ERIS too, and it just happened to say Me Too, and so when you listen to the record, it's very women independent, power heavy, you know, like, but from my
Yeah, it's very empowering. It's a very empowering record.
yes, and on his end, he just came with amazing raw and authentic elements from everything that he's been inspired by, which inspires me. So it just, so it kind of plays on the Me Too thing, but it also, like, it's true. It's like MAKR and ERIS too.
Yeah.
But it is about being a powerful woman.
Absolutely.
That whole album.
Yeah, which comes through in different ways on that opening and closing track. Like the power of like feeling one's feelings and I cried. There's like the way in which you own whatever upheaval you were going through is empowering.
It's also taking responsibility of and I think the album is very much like that. Is the story is taking responsibility of your actions, being accountable of your actions, and being okay with the actions that happen, or even being powerful enough to say sorry, or I messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
What I look like, Usher? I ain't confessed to shit.
it's one of my favorite lyrics on the album. Actually.
Me too. And that's on Burn.
Yeah.
I also love at the end of Got It, the very, very end of that where it goes, go ERIS, go MAKR, and then the beats for that bit too. I remember like hearing that track at the Sean Anonymous birthday party.
Oh yeah.
I like that you kind of wrote ERIS and MAKR. I just love everything about that set.
Oh yeah, that was like, I love that. So I saw what's his name?
Albert
Elmore. But what's his like actual?
He goes by Albert.
No, not his artist name.
No, it's his artist name.
It's Albert.
It's just Albert.
Okay, I thought it was something else. I'm sorry. So no, I was inspired by Albert, who I just saw live. He opened up for Marijuana Death Squads at Zora Darling, and he did a production set, but he set up his controller like this, and then he had an old TV that was hooked up to Zelda. Like from PlayStation like 1. Like super
like
analog.
Ocarina of Time?
The video game Zelda.
Yeah.
So all he did, he just goes, presses play, and then just plays Zelda.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what we can do now? I was like, this is amazing. I just thought it was like, I was so inspired because like, you know, you could be up there like playing your tracks, or you just like play your tracks that's already pre-mixed and then just play Zelda.
He also did that with Doom back in the day at like Big B's.
It was Doom.
It was a Doom?
It was like, yeah, I was singing Zelda.
But I don't know, so he goes by Albert, but I don't, maybe he went by a different name when he said.
Yeah, I feel like it was a different name, but either way, he just it was brilliant to me. And I was like, it just reminded me it inspired me to do like more, like you could do a lot more artistically that I think people don't think about sometimes. And so
that inspired how you did that.
Well, so that combined, so once I saw that, it reminded me also of when I saw Black Star in Red Rocks, and they came out and they signed, they graffitied Black Star on like the riser when they came out in a spray paint.
Totally.
But I don't know, either way, I was like, what if we came out and I like tagged the table? I was inspired by like high art at the time, and I think just the more we were able to do that, it would make me excited to do.
Yeah, we should do more.
Yeah. That was the first time we did it. I don't think we've done it since we did it that day.
Yeah, it worked. It landed well.
Thank you.
That day.
Thank you.
That was a fun show.
Yeah,
That was a fun show.
Yeah.
In Unicorn, I'm the creator, I'm the curator, I didn't plan this.
I make planets.
I make planets.
I make planets.
Yeah.
It's not I didn't plan this. It's I make planets.
Yeah,
Oh,
both.
that's
So it's like I'm the
both.
creator, I'm the curator. I didn't plan this, I make planets.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
even
both.
better. I
Yeah.
didn't catch. I didn't make planets before. What's the ABC again? Authenticity.
Authenticity, bravery, and consistency.
Yeah. So we have the authenticity in I cried,
Yeah.
and then and then that leads through bravery to be like I make planets. That's a
I'm the creator.
brave statement. What thoughts do you have, either or both, on that kind of statement?
Yeah.
I'm the creator, I'm the curator, I didn't plan this, I make planets.
Yeah. That's like what a woman is. You know, they create life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what we're embarking on in that line.
And the whole pusher thing too. I'm your pusher.
Push babies out.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and throughout the
Big
whole
Bang
of that
was
song,
also-
actually, yeah. Baby about to be born, sex with the sunset.
Pussy about to be torn.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that
yeah.
pusher. It was also like I think about the Big Bang, you know, like and I think about just a woman's vagina, like that is the Big Bang. Like the universe
Yeah.
happened in the same kind of way as a baby would happen.
Totally. I give birth to this.
Yes.
I didn't plan this, so it's
yeah.
it's more like my flow is sick.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in the flow.
Yeah.
I like the vomit noises in the previous song.
He makes vomit noises.
You're good at many things, including making vomit noises.
Yeah. I try. I have a bad gag reflex.
Really present.
But I didn't plan this. I think is significant because so in terms of like the creative process.
Plan this. Yeah. I mean, honestly, whenever we start a creation, we're not really planning at all. We kind of just go with what we feel.
Yeah.
We take what we're influenced by in the room. I'm very we're both very sensitive, like empaths.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so with any energy that shifts, I think we're both good at taking it and creating it into something that is valuable.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
we've been in rooms where we're just like but we could take it and he can feel he always feels me and I can tell when he does because I can tell what's coming out when he creates it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more angry or maybe be a little more sweet.
Totally.
But it's just taking what you feel in the room but it's not necessarily planned ever.
Working with that material.
Yeah. It's just it will let it happen. We'll let it all happen. And then at the end you figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just deciding where to go next.
So it's okay.
I'll cut this bit.
No,
Of myself.
keep on rolling. Keep on rolling, bro. Here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. The 2025 project is crazy.
It's crazy.
Anyway, I don't want to get into
God.
it.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing for real. Like him and I kind of took. We realized we were in the midst of this project and going into the release show. We were kind of on each other like all the time.
Yeah.
And once the release show was over, we just had moments to just be. And I was like, dang, we haven't seen each other like the longest we haven't seen each other in like months. But I felt like a shift happened for me personally, because I think every time you release a project, you kind of shed something.
Totally. Yeah.
And so for me, I kind of like allowed myself to kind of sit still for a second and receive what I had inadvertently kind of been blocking out just because of like the tunnel vision that was happening with our release.
Yeah.
And I got to step back and actually like feel what's happening in the world, and it's just insane. And it made me. I'm glad I got to, but it's a lot. I just feel like it's really heavy, and sometimes it's hard as creators or just what we do to like understand like what are we doing, like why are we like what are, it's just you feel so small sometimes.
Yeah. And also, we do shut out the world when we create because we're like in this, we're at mid-city and we're not looking at the news. We're not like looking at literally we'll be in the studio for like sometimes 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Just creating, what I'm saying? And it's like a lighthouse, basically.
Totally.
Like on an island.
Yeah, I like how that does that too.
Just isolated.
Bow!
See it.
Oh, there's a lighthouse.
Yeah.
So that made me think of the cover is what it made me think of, like the record cover, whether
cover.
the arrows. Is that a tattoo also?
So those we could get into tattoo. Okay, so that actually comes from Greg Fox.
Okay.
And Greg Fox is like to him is like he's his favorite drummer in the world.
One of them, yeah.
One of them.
Yeah. Shout out to Basque.
We give it to him. And Ben. But Greg is an amazing drummer who drums for Marijuana Death Squads. I met via Ryan Olsen, and I was after I was hanging out with them one night, and Greg was telling me about, so my name is Sophia Eris, as you know, and he goes, do you know what Discordianism is? And I'm like, no. And he goes, it's the worship of the god of Eris. And to me, I always thought Eris was the goddess of strife, and Sophia is the goddess of wisdom. That's why I chose those two names.
Yeah.
But I was like, tell me more. And he turns around and he goes, look at my back. And it's those two, it's that tattoo, and it's like, it's the symbol of Eris. So he has Eris tattooed on his back. But
those arrows.
It means worshiping chaos.
Oh, wow.
So like, he just basically opened my mind to like, I was like, what? And I was like, it was amazing alignment. I remember like seeing him, I was like, yeah, I have no idea what just happened. I wanted to cry.
Look at this picture.
I was like, look at this picture. I was
It's amazing.
It was like, it kind of looks like the front and the back.
I was like, what is that chest at? Or is that his belly? What are his fingers doing?
It was beautiful to me.
It was
and
really
like,
beautiful.
it meant worshiping the god of chaos, who was Eris. And so with MAKR and Eris, I was like, this is like amazing art for our album. And he actually started, so he has like a little guy. You want to show him your little guy?
Oh, yeah.
And a tattoo, you can see.
This is going to be my next question, I think.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
so,
that little guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is always been his logo that he drew. And so when it came to like understanding Eris and that symbolism, he created a new guy where instead of these eyes, it's the arrows.
The arrows. Yeah, that was the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which I recognized from Quicksand and Big Bag.
yes. we
So
put
that
on
little
there.
guy is on the cover for each of those singles.
Yes.
And
That's-
and the arrows end up in the little guy. I was gonna.
That's how MAKR logo.
Yeah, there we go. And,
That's right. You be part of
there we go. Now
Yeah,
I can.
now we're on the same team.
Okay. Quicksand. I love the song Quicksand too, which is not on the record. It features Jackie Blue.
Yes. Love Jackie.
Yeah,
Shout out
it's
Jackie.
as we hear at the end. Dan, that was it.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, you should explain that part.
Okay. A guy had walked in. He was a friend of Jackie's manager. So I walked in like literally when we had just finished it, and we're like, hey, take a listen, and he goes, damn, that was a hit. And I'm like, could you say that one more time in the microphone, please? And so
You didn't plan that.
No.
No.
Nope. Just came in and said that. I was
I think
like,
he took his hat off, too. I think he was like, man, that was a hit. And we're like, whoa!
Say it again.
Say it again. Tie the room together.
The chorus is just so powerful, I think. Been trying to stand my ground, don't know quite where I stand, feel like I'm slipping through some quicksand.
Yeah.
So you're prioritizing authenticity, like pulling things more in that direction.
Yes.
It's obviously very difficult to stand one's ground when one doesn't know where one stands.
So when it's shifting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that captures the same combination of vulnerability related to authenticity and then courage,
Yeah.
bravery and courage.
Yeah.
And it's particularly soulful,
Yeah.
that song. And I'm sure you have all kinds of other songs as well that you've been working on at Mid-City
Yeah,
Studios.
yeah.
So how did you decide to bring these 8 songs that are on MAKR ERIS 2?
Yeah.
Quicksand and Big Bag were released shortly before it.
Yes.
How did you decide to not include those on it, for example?
Yeah, well, like we kind of like when we think about just a rollout in general, because we have a lot of collaborative songs and
Yeah.
a lot of them that weren't able to be released before that too. But
Yeah, Big Tears.
but those two, but those two are just also like since like Me Too too, we want to
Yeah.
have women
Yeah, totally.
involved as much as possible as well.
Yeah.
So those are like just we believe in a lot of artists here, and one thing I think him and I both agree on is just we love staying curious and love being taught things. And we love help, and we love sharing everything that we know at the same time. And so, when it comes to Kia and Jackie, those two women are very like fearless, in my opinion, when it comes to artistry. They'll go, they're not scared to step up and like perform, and they're on and they're efficient. And they're very good. And actually that song Quicksand, Jackie just did that in one take.
Yeah, that was the first song we made with her.
That's the first
I
song we
think.
made with her,
Yeah.
and like she just freestyled all those things, and so we
Wow.
put it together and created the song from it. And so, and Kia and the Big Bag with Kia,
Oh, yeah.
her and I actually did that separately, and he came in and he created the beat around it, and it was amazing. So, yeah, but both happened very quickly and very easily,
And maybe
so-
releasing them as standalone singles showcases
Yeah.
the collaborator more.
Well, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, like, so the Me Too thing is a piece, right? So like those songs didn't really fit. They're dope, right? But they didn't fit within the piece of what Me Too was. But
Yeah.
we still wanted to put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a different facet of what we do. But like, because Me Too is just a
It's a piece.
concise piece.
Yeah.
So you listen to it front to back, and they
Yeah.
just flow right into each other very well. And that's like what I think moving forward. Every time we do a record, we want to make sure it's like has that aura to it. We love Kanye both
Yeah.
too, and the one thing that Kanye does very well is make a great album
We love the album.
from front to back. We love albums.
Yeah.
So like that's something when we create pieces and albums and EPs, we want to make sure you could just fly, like listen to it back front to back, and it just flows right into each other. So
Yeah.
yeah, Big Bag and Quicksand didn't quite make the piece, but we
Yeah.
definitely wanted to showcase that work.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And when I was saying before that I like the very end of Got It,
Yeah.
I like it in the context of then leading into Burn,
Burn, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
for example. I was revisiting the song Frontrunner
Oh yeah.
as well before,
Yes.
which is you and Laserbeak Bionic.
Yes.
I love that song, but in the context of this conversation, it strikes me that I'm definitely not suggesting it's inauthentic.
Yeah.
But there is lots of bravery, there's lots of courage.
Yeah.
I'm a front runner on a roll doing sold out shows.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not inauthentic, but there isn't the vulnerability that we immediately get in I Cried.
Yeah.
Perhaps let's expand a bit more on this collection of songs being a piece, and a part of this piece, it seems to me, is there being more vulnerability, and
Yeah.
then it's a new type of authenticity.
Yeah, I
that's
think
present.
it's interesting you say that actually because I've talked to him about this. I think so that project, those songs I did with Laserbeak and Bionic are very like well done sonically, sonic sounds.
They are.
And within that era, when I was creating music with them, I would this is when I was in radio. I'd like wake up, do the radio show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then I would go every Monday to have a session with them from 1 to 5. And so I was always like sober. It was like I was always very clear-headed, and it was always very like precise and efficient and like pro. Like,
Yeah.
And it was from just having a session every Monday from 1 to 5 is definitely a significant way for me. There's a lot of ways to create, but that was like something I was very like. It was like do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Kind of like
Yeah.
when I would write it, I would talk about my day. Like people take notes about what I said in a way, and then we would create something out of that. We have a song, a session, and then we would start one at the end of it, so we had something to start with the next week. And I say that because you like talk about authenticity, and I feel like all those songs definitely came from a place of whatever I was talking about that day. But I think I felt a little more professional than authentic in those sessions, and I say that as like there was a perfection based.
Like cream product kind of.
Like that those songs to me, like we actually all sat down because I'd been synced separately with both of them before. And they both wanted to do a project, and I was like, well, you guys live like down the street from each other. It's just like meet every Monday and knock out songs that we can get synced together.
Yes.
So there was like a sound that was being kind of like chased after, that was a goal to make sure we got synced. You know what I'm saying? So like so there was like that when it comes to like a radar authenticity in those songs, they were just a little lower than just to be reached in the perfective way of trying to make money off of these songs
Yeah.
in a sync form.
Lots of focus, lots of discipline.
Yeah.
And quite a large amount of I did plan this.
Yes, it was like yes, we planned that. Those were all planned. There you go. Yeah. And I was happy to create like that. I think there's so many ways to
Yeah,
create.
planning is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we knew our intentions, and we knew exactly what we were doing, and we knew the
Yeah.
sounds we were going for.
Well, but planning is good.
There was a
Being
plan.
intentional is good.
Yeah.
Doing things on purpose is good.
Yeah, whether as songs that we create with each other, it's way more freeform.
Yeah.
And we understand what it is after, not before.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I've made planets.
Yep. Yep.
And look back, I've made planets.
Yeah. And that was created also, like Frontrunner was created back in like 2017 as well. And so now, so it was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
And
Yeah.
with this other way of practicing creativity that relates to this project.
Yeah.
If we're creating in this way where we're working with materials and letting something emerge in collaboration, not letting planning too much get in the way
Yeah.
of something coming into being, then I find the planning component and the discipline for me relates more to things like cultivating the capacity to be with my fear, to recognize it, so this kind of emotional work really,
Oh, yeah.
so that I can then alchemize something.
Yeah.
That type of planning helps, and exactly the kind of ABC that
Yeah.
you were sharing your knowledge about with the kids taking that program.
Yeah.
Goes into searching for perfection. You know, when you search for perfection, like you're never gonna find it
Yeah.
at all. You know, so if you go into this cookie cutter like idea of what you think art is, you know, just to do this, you're never gonna achieve it unless that goal happens, which, you know, the money comes or whatever, or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
sonically, or just anything. As far as like, there is always a bar, you know,
Yes.
for that kind of perfection. So if you keep on trying to reach that perfection, then that's where the stress comes in. That's where I don't think art. I mean, art could come out of it, but
Yeah.
it is that push and pull that gets kind of confusing.
Yeah. Authenticity and perfection one's gonna be a little bit more sacrificed than the other, mostly, maybe.
It's a push
Yeah.
and pull.
And with this project, you're prioritizing authenticity, like pulling things more in that direction.
Yes.
That's the goal rather than perfection.
Yeah.
And having
And then-
confidence in how you of what you actually take accountability. Goes all back to that.
You know? Yeah.
Having breakthroughs.
Yeah, all around. All around, man. ABCs.
ABC, son.
ABCs to breakthrough.
1, 2, 3, yo.
B stands for breakthrough. A stands for accountability.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, son. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The bravery and the courage come through a lot in Got It. Am I hearing this right? You're a franchise boy. I'm a franchise comic boy. Is that right?
Yeah, so like, you know, remember them franchise boys where they, yep, and my white tee, yep. Is that, so I say wifey, wait. Hi, fee, baby, I'm a wifey. I'll turn that wife beater into a white tee. Now you a franchise boy. I'm a franchise boy. Let me handle my franchise boy.
Yeah. Let me out of my franchise boy.
No, let me handle my franchise.
Let me handle my franchise boy.
Yeah.
That's like similar to the.
Jay-Z line.
I just keep on thinking about someone. We have someone that was freaking out about this line.
Oh, really?
For like a good almost hour
Okay.
at the studio.
He was, yeah.
Anyway, keep on going. So I'm just thinking about that.
I remember that
Story.
too.
I'd love to hear more about that.
It's crazy.
The reason why that lyric
Yeah.
strikes me as interesting to bring into conversation with
Yeah.
what we were just talking about is, so by the time that we step back and they say, oh, I've made planets. I didn't plan this, but now I've made planets.
Yeah.
Especially if one is, you know, if one is Sophia ERIS,
Yeah.
like people have ideas about what Sophia ERIS is.
Yes.
And I think that's an interesting thing to encounter near the end of this record. Let me handle my franchise
Yeah.
like I am Sophia ERIS.
Yeah.
This is what it is to be Sophia ERIS.
Yeah.
And the confidence and the courage of that, as we're like nearing the end, I think, of the interview.
Okay.
Could you expand a bit on this process of like owning who it is to be Sophia ERIS in various ways?
I feel like Sophia ERIS is, I will always be curious in unraveling my creativity. I never want to be like limited to anything. I always try to chase alignment versus money, I guess. Like, I think as I've gotten older and I've gotten the blessings to be able to experience everything I have in my career, which has been amazing. Like, I feel like I manifested a lot of what I have been able to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to keep manifesting more. I've been able to achieve a lot.
Yeah.
But within that, though, I understand the sacrifices I've had to make when it just for the knowledge that I've had to gain.
Yeah.
So now I feel very much in myself, the most myself I've ever felt artistically. I feel like I've gotten to a point of really understanding my voice and what my capabilities are. I put a lot of work into that. And so now I can follow my gut more so than what I feel will rise me up in any way. I feel like I can rise myself up along people that I want to rise with me.
Yeah.
So
like Mark and
Skyscraping.
Shine.
Mark, yeah.
Skyscraping.
Yep.
Yeah,
And so, as long as I feel true when I do it, I will do it.
yeah.
But the moment I feel like it's not right, or I understand what I don't need to be a part of anymore. So yeah.
That is, you barely answered that question.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. And that tracks with the ethos of the record
Yes.
as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that we've covered everything that we need to. You do have a festival appearance on the horizon.
We do, yeah.
Which is September 8th.
Yes.
North by Loop.
North by Loop.
So what is North by Loop?
It's a festival in the North Loop, but Bear's an artist. It's amazing that I've told him about a lot, but she saw us at Minneapolis music show with Current at Fitzgerald recently.
Fitzgerald,
She loved us. She's like, girl, come to the festival. So I know she's a part of it. So we're excited to see her, and we're excited to be a part of it. So
Absolutely. That is Sunday, September 8th in the North Loop, in Minneapolis North Loop.
Yes.
It's a festival curated by Bear.
Bear, I'm not sure. I just know she's a part of
Okay.
the affiliate somehow. I'm not sure, but I know she reached out to us about it. So
Nice.
North
Yeah.
by North Loop.
So mark your calendars for that.
Yes.
I mean, there's much more to be said, but let's save that for a future occasion. I'd love to
Okay.
have the two of you back next
Thank
time
you.
you put something out.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming in
thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
It's been a fun conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nice, real and fun.
Thank you. Yes.
Put these up.
you definitely definitely aligned it very well.
Yeah. That's what makes us such a good trio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Shout out to Brock, by the way.
Thank you. Chocolate City.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has been really fun, silly, and serious.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in. And this has been Back to the City. I'm Simon Calder. We will be back next Thursday on MCN6 at 10 p.m. This episode, if you're watching on MCN6, it will be archived on YouTube in the morning tomorrow, so you can watch it back. Thank you very much for coming in, friends, and
you.
we'll be back in the future.
Chicha.
Hulu free. Open up my doors. Clean my bathroom floor. Keep you wanting more. Shit.